This is Supreme Entertainment.
Top-notch content. Smooth, soothing convos.
Wrapped in a world-class brand.
J101.9 FM. Burst on the plateau, globally celebrated.
After the business is pleasure.
After the bills,
we play the hits.
The best music from around the globe.
Good morning to you, and thank you once again for being a huge part of the Morning J. It is now 1 minute past the hour of 9 a.m. and today is Tuesday, November 23, 2021. I am your anchor, Zoe Machunga. And as it is in today's world, the media continues to be an essential part of our daily needs. The media of today is playing an outstanding role in creating and shaping of public opinion and strengthening of society. This morning, we will be looking at issues indeed that brings our opinions to the fore, looking at how to strengthen the society as well. Let's start this way. Let's take a look at some headlines that have been making the rounds. Just this morning, we are seeing that February 2022 APC convention dates shaky as crisis persists in 12 states. The President Buhari on Monday, that is yesterday, approved February 22 for the All Progressive Congress National Convention. However, there was no specific date when the convention would hold next February, meaning that nothing is cast in stone. This comes as the crisis has continued to rock 12 state chapters of the APC, with many individuals and groups instituting court cases against the ruling party and its caretaker chairman, Maimala Buni, who is also the governor of Yobe State. Now, the states facing crisis are Rivers, Ekiti, Ogun, Oyo, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Osun, Kano, Abia, Zamfara, and Kwara states were facing factions are battling for supremacy. If you remember, Buhari had in June 2020 inaugurated the caretaker Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee led by Buni, with the primary aim of conducting the national convention of the party in December of that year, after which the Yobe governor would step aside and a new chairman would have emerged. However, in December 2020, the tenure of Buni's committee was extended by 6 months to June 2021. And in June, the convention was again shifted and was expected to hold in December. However, the congresses preceding the convention, which were conducted in the states, ended in rancor, with many states producing factional chairmen. Away from that, also in the news, very much trending, we have seen that the meeting between the 22 APC governors on Sunday ended with no consensus. A meeting of the Progressive Governors Forum, which was held at the Kebbi State Governors Lodge, Abuja, reportedly degenerated into a shouting match between two governors from the North Central Zone when the issue came up for discussion. While some governors said to be sympathetic to the national leader of the party, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, wanted the position of the National Assembly upheld, others argued that since democracy was all about choices, parties should be giving options to choose from. Now, crises in political parties are natural, and they say politics is like a game. It depends, on how people who play the game look at it. And these are some of the issues that we will be dissecting this morning, and also the issue of Nnamdi Kanu And what is coming out from the Southeast at this time, we're seeing the Arewa Consultative Forum has said that the detained leader of the proscribed secessionist group, the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, cannot be trusted and should not be granted amnesty. The Pan-Northern Social Political Organization said Kanu cannot be trusted because he once jumped bail in 2017 and fled the country. The ACF therefore urged President Muhammadu Buhari, retired, to follow the rule of law and leave the IPOB leader to face trial for the charges brought against him. And we've also seen Ohaneze Indigo wade into the matter lately, appealing to the IPOB group, to residents in the Southeast, to ignore the sit-at-home directive by the IPOB after Nnamdi Kanu, of course, was seized in Kenya June 29, 2021. The group, the Ohaneze Indigo, has noted that the sit-at-home has the potential of destroying the economic life of the people and hampering efforts aimed at reaching diplomatic solutions to the problem. Thank you for joining us this morning, retired Captain Kazmaya Nwafo.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning to you. Now, you're a security expert from the Southeast, and it would be good to have your input on a lot that's going on in the Southeast. We also have in the studio Mr. Malobi Godson. He is from Sidesa. And we also have Mr. Adama Gabriel Akutsam, who is a lawyer here in the studio with us.
Good morning. Thank you, JFM, and good morning, listeners.
Well, good morning. Welcome to this program that has the capacity to get you informed so that you can give the right answers when it is demanded.
All right, let me get that properly. Mr. Malobi Godson, Center for Dialogue, Enabling Environment for Sustainability Advocacy. That is Mr. Malobi Godson. Okay, let's start with you, Captain Nwafo. Concerning what is going on in the Southeast at the moment, we're hearing that the sit-at-home order directive has been called off. Is that the reality on ground at the moment?
For now, the people are beginning to pick up. Before, they used to kind of out of fear, they don't come out. But last Monday, as an ambassador got some remedy that there are going to be lively activities. So gradually it will pick up.
Gradually it will pick up. Okay, now we've also seen Ohaneze Indigo Worldwide has commended President Buhari for considering the demand for the release of the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. How would you explain, that? What is your take on that? Of course, we've also seen the reaction from the Arewa Consultative Forum saying that he should not be granted amnesty.
Well, Ohaneze Indigo, I recommend them for the effort to meet the appropriate profile. Non-determinable emergence was a result of the leadership in the Southeast. So those leaders must find a way out of it. So if they are doing if they are finding other responsibilities, we don't have them in the country. Concerning the issue of the granting of amnesty or whatever, I think the president has all the power. I don't believe that it's interfering with the judicial process.
I have to ask you, sorry, retired Captain Nwafo, can you please speak up a little more? Your voice is a bit muffled.
All right. Sorry about that.
All right.
Regarding the amnesty issue, when the bandits and the Boko Haram we are told that they are referred to that this and that, I don't know which court they should go to evaluate them and consider them defended, or where they did the apologies and other things. So you cannot react to one group and then read the other one for another group. Under our constitutional laws, the Attorney General can enter for no posting, what you call a no case. I've seen the charges against Nnamdi Kanu. All those charges are just none of them will even fly. So not waste our time in the court when we have a chance to sort out the matter politically. You can't imagine somebody for what he did in London, inside Nigeria. We don't have that jurisdiction. Yeah, that is subdued. That one they can handle that one when they get to court. But on the serious note, the president has all the powers to do what he said he will consider.
But in the same breath, we also heard the president say he doesn't want to interfere with judicial matters.
He cannot say he doesn't want to interfere. Yes, he hasn't been interfered. So he has been interfering in Boko Haram, interfering in bandits, discussing with Donald. And let me tell you something. The IPOB are beginning to have a listening there because Anambra election wouldn't have held if they had insisted on that 1 week sit at home. Then the election is called off and everybody participated in the election. So when somebody is trying to show a kind of a commitment, we should be very careful to throw that kind of mindset away. I will urge the government to look at what they have to say. What are they even talking about? It's a matter of how you are managing, how you treating people, appointment and infrastructure imbalance. It's a very simple topic to address. You understand? So when you have a group that has a definite picture, a definite leadership, and a definite demand, that I think that the best you can argue, you can dialogue on the Boko Haram and the bandits that are no fit. So I think that white group is just being unnecessary childish by saying we shouldn't do that. When he was doing it for their own people, granting amnesty and combating the Boko Haram, you know, again, than today.
Okay, let's look at another issue still in the news is Kano beats Southeast in VAT collection. Would you tie this to the sit-at-home order that's taken a toll economically on the Southeast zone?
The VAT is a different thing. It's a different building. The matter is in court, and I support all the governors who are out to fight it. If you say you are not drinking beer, and drinking beer in Lagos, and making it to 40 billion, then you are destroying the bottles of beer and you are collecting more than you that you didn't drink beer. I don't think we are being honest. So the vast issue should be, the government is even talking about, the federal government is not talking about out of cost of because they know they lose. It's a very serious thing. Value added tax is paid to the area that is not paid to the government. So if federal government now want to have a share in the money, they will now have to sit down with the government and know how much percentage you pay to us. And we are coming to that's why we're talking about this issue of restructuring. We are coming to everything, every avenue will be discussed. Every damn thing. You know what I'm saying? This country has to be recognized. The way it will not yet.
So we've heard severally Sheikh Gumi tell the government to come to have a dialogue with the bandits. We've also heard the statement by the President General of Hanese Indigbo Worldwide, Ambassador Professor George Obiozo. He has always maintained that the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu requires a political solution, that dialogue remains a veritable instrument for a functional democracy all over the world. Do you think that dialogue would bring an end to the problems in Nigeria right now, the killings, the kidnappings, and all the agitation from IPOB to Sunday Igboho?
I believe it's true. As a time, I had experience in this. It's not everything about go. No. There are things you discuss and then settle. Not every time you carry gun, most of the time these things don't work. I was seeing it in the Northeast. We have seen it in areas like this type of issue and the Boyo issue. There are you have to sit down and talk. Not every time you wear people or you bring out their bed. No, even in the family, you have this. You don't start punching the woman or punching the children. When you keep punching, you still have to sit down and discuss it because the punching will not solve it. So it's not like the Nigerian setup. If there are people who are aggrieved and they think why we agree, they even give you reasons. It's not that they agree, they are not giving you. So they give you reasons. So I'm not against discussing with bandits if they are known. Their problem. They will discuss it if it is job. Then governors in those areas create job for their people. If there are areas the federal government can assist, they will come and ask for Jonathan did it when he was there. These are marginal schools and other things. And what did they do with those schools? You know, sometimes some of these people you create problem for yourself and then you come out to sacrifice. They created these schools and I don't know where these schools are today. Because those schools were to solve problems, to solve all these emerging problems, to solve all this issue of South and other things, moving up and down. It's government to train them freely. They're not going to complete school fees. They're going to be a kind of free education and then empower them. But all those things we are thrown to the wind. And look at what we are doing. So if we discuss with them, if we are going back to open those schools for them, put them back to school, train them in one job or the other, then we have to. I'm not against any dialogue with anybody, whether it's Boko Haram or bandits or IPOB, but as long as it brings peace.
So clearly, can we now say that the IPOB are also open for dialogue, as we have seen them, sheath their swords during the Anambra elections, and should government also, be on its all hands on deck to make sure they make use of this window period that has been open?
Right from day one, IPOB has been open to dialogue. It is the government that has been trying to kind of be economistic and balance. On day one, I thought was having a peaceful protest. They made their demand known. Even before emergence of Nandekano. Nandekano is under IPOB. I don't know whether you understand it. I think it was the kind of, was an elder from the elite. These are elders that from IPOB. And they had their demand. So it was when they started now killing them, there was a massacre of members of the IPOB and then they went to celebrate the anniversary in the church, and they came in there and killed them. The members came down, and just like what happened to Boko Haram when they killed the leader of Boko Haram. So sometimes you push people into violence. They have been peaceful. They have been asking for dialogue. I don't think they are fitted from this.
All right, thank you. Now let's hear from you, Mr. Malobi Godson. What is your take on all of these issues, starting with Nnamdi Kanu, the security also in the southeast, and where we are right now at the moment?
I want to appreciate our brother who is participating on this program via phone. His positions, I think I quite agree with. Let me also say, like I once mentioned on this platform some times back, the power of dialogue, the power of engagement, the power of negotiation actually came to play, which enabled Anambra election to be held last time. Because prior to that election, there was tension. There was real, in fact, you could almost touch the feelings of the fear that existed in Anambra State. Apart from the fact that the federal government said they were sending about almost 35,000 policemen, 20,000 NSDC and immigration and all the paramilitary organizations down to Anambra State, that actually increased the fear. But you saw that leaders of thoughts, traditional rulers, Ohanes Ndibo and all the well-meaning, even Bishop Council of Nigeria also, if I'm not mistaken, in the southeast, went into a meeting and into dialogue. At the end of the day, we saw the result. It is not all about sending troops, flying aircraft over people's head. Once you are doing that, all you are trying to do is to tell the people to get ready to defend themselves if the case arises. So if we are to borrow a leaf from that, and I want to say this, if we are talking about Boko Haram, bandits, and the IPOB and the Sunday Boho, these groups are not the same. They are not the same, and I hate to mention them along the same line. The IPOBs, you could see their reasons, what they are agitating for. And this agitation was not that high until recent time when we now have a president who is playing out marginalization on a very clear terms. You know, they now took the agitation to a very high level and then take it down to Sunday Boho and all that. You could see what they are agitating for. You could see what they are saying. Even when somebody said he wants to go out of the entity called Nigeria, it is even within the ambit of the law for one to agitate to exit from an entity if you don't agree with that body. But at the same time, if you look at the Boko Haram and the bandits, what are they really agitating for? people who maim, kill at will, abduct. In fact, the recent news of what happened in the Kaduna Abuja road day before yesterday is still sending fears into the spines of Nigerians, because I passed through that road that same Sunday, because I traveled to Delta State, from there crisscrossed to do a program in Edo State, and there to Abuja, and then back to Jos. In fact, you could see that incident had happened before we passed through there, and you could see fear, you could see a kind of uncertainty written all over the place. Is that the country we want to have? And these are the people who cause this mayhem, cause this destruction, plunge us into economic pains and dryness, because consistently they are squeezing Nigerians, collecting ransom. Consistently, they are stopping Nigerians from going about their lawful business. In fact, we had the news that in Niger State, some communities pay royalty to go to farm. They pay royalty to go to the market.
I mean, all the on red alerts thanks to what happened in Kaduna. Now let's bring in Mr. Adama. You're a lawyer, so what would you say? I mean, we could recall some weeks back when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. That this sparked some kind of diplomatic row with the UK, and because he's also a British citizen. Can we say that the international body is also concerned about the outcome of what is going on with Nnamdi Kanu, Sunday Igboho, and what is your advice to them? Then also talking about IPOB being declared a terrorist group, and we're yet to hear of bandits being declared in the same way too, and yet we even see, I would say, more glaring, the effects of banditry. What are your thoughts on these two issues before we move into the Electoral Amendment Act?
Thank you, Zoe. Basically, on this very matter, it is a matter that has lingered for quite some time. I knew even when IPOB was declared a terrorist group, some of us, especially, are staunchly against that very position, because I didn't see all of the features that qualifies an organization present in IPOB to become a terrorist group. We also know that actually escalated even the violence concerning the southeast. Now, by and large, let's even keep that aside. To conclude on that is just that the proscription of that group, to me, it is wrong. It is just like giving a dog a bad name, you understand, because you want to kill it. Now, let's even look at even under international law. International law, there are bilateral relationships. There is territorial integrity and sovereignty of every nation, which means Nigeria is independent of the United Kingdom, even though they may have some subtle influence and threat over each other because of economic power and some political reasons. But by and large, you also know that it has been a back and forth. Even Kenya government has come to say they never participated in this act, neither to have surrendered Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. The United Kingdom, who have also said no, there is no way Nigeria can prosecute Nnamdi Kanu on behalf of any other country. You can only do that for an offense, the territorial integrity of our nation. It does not extend. So Nigeria cannot hold a brief on behalf of any other nation. That is on the one part. Now, assuming that Nnamdi Kanu has even committed any offense in Nigeria, you must have to pass through the normal process for which such a person can be repatriated into your country for him to be what? Prosecuted.
So what you're saying, in other words, is laws have already been broken already?
Yes, if you come up to the international, if you look at the issue of Sunday Igboho, it has been established internationally. Because if you look at it, even if it was on the prior offense for which Nnamdi was granted bail, on that matter, you must also have to follow the international convention, treaties, and protocol before you can get him back and prosecute him. But in the instance to which they have gone, I'm very international law, every nation has that right. Nobody can invade, even as it is, no matter the fact that Nigeria depends on the United States of America for most of the leverages on a lot of economic or maybe military equipment. Likewise, UK for some support or aid. You could remember when David Mark was the Senate president and they were bringing the issue of gay to pass the act, and we said no. Even when the United Kingdom was even threatening on every other thing, we said no, we have the territorial integrity, and that was how it came to stand. So Nigeria cannot go to breach such a law at an international level, and if that is the case, then we must also, the United Kingdom, Kenya, that is also concerned in this, must also see how they come together to settle it, because we might be setting a bad precedent as far as the matter is concerned. Now let me just even dovetail detail into the matter of talking about amnesty. Why are you even talking about amnesty? For me, the major thing about this thing is that there should be speedy trial, like what we call in the legal terms accelerated trial or hearing of this very matter. From the point Nnamdi Kanu has been brought, if we have said our investigation has been concluded, by now the prosecution must have finished its own case, and we delve into what the other parts. Then at the end of the day, we'll see. That is why we can also see that the mere fact that we are trying to backtrack, it looks as if there is something somewhere happening behind the scene other than the legality of it. So for the president to say he is leaving it to the judiciary, now you look at who are those prosecuting. It's actually the executive arm of what? The government. The DSS prosecuting are the investigative arm, and they are those who enforce what? This law. So if instances abound where Nnamdi Kanu was supposed to be present in court, somebody who is in their custody and they cannot avail him, what is the challenge? That is the area of law I want to see that there should be improvement as far as the National Assembly is concerned. If an accused person fails to come to court without any reason or is shortly showing cause, he forfeits his bail bond, and in fact a bench warrant is issued against him. Now in the instance where an accused person is in the custody of an agency of government and they refuse to bring him up for whatever reason that is known to them, what is the punishment to that agency of governance? That is also a clock in the wheel of what? Justice. Then you also look at the system that comes around, that by the time you are going to the Federal High Court, you find out that the place is so gathered and everything. I also believe that even those who are agitating for Nnamdi Kanu, at times when we agitate and obstruct the process, we will not achieve the speed that we need in order to what? Have this justice. So if we can come by and say, these other supporters, can we now arrange? These are the number of lawyers who want to come in. The rest of you can pay solidarity, not to even try to give these people opportunity to have a reason to say, because the place is rowdy, there is threat to peace and security, then they move out. Then that will also help the process. For me, if the federal government can establish its case, let it establish. But the point again is that Nnamdi Kanu, what has he done? Has he lifted any weapon against any government? Has he done anything that can amount to what? Treason or insurrection of any government? Now, if we look at it, it has come to a point.
For the burning down of INEC offices and police stations and attack on security officials.
That is the point I also tell you. You see, most of the times is that there's this African adage that says, when you point a finger, I'm pointing my finger at you, Zoe. Four are pointing at me. Now, if the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the welfare of the people, security of lives and property is in the hands of the government, why should a particular segment who are not even trained through the system of security, who are like splinter group, or overrun our security system? That is the first question we should ask. When such a thing happens in advanced country, you don't push it to such a group. Somebody takes responsibility, because by the constitution, by the social contract that binds an elected leader and the people, that is your primary responsibility to discharge. So where there is such a failure, if Nnamdi is the reason, try him in court. You have taken him to court. Bring that evidence before the court. If your evidence is weighty and it will have proved beyond reasonable doubt, Nnamdi Kanu will be what? Convicted. And what is the essence of punishment? Aside from punishment being correction, punishment also serves as what? Deterrence to others, to say, if Nnamdi Kanu has gone this way and has been convicted, why should I also take up arms against the government? But you find out that the lack of will from the agency of government that is prosecuting this matter to come forth to do it also shows that this is just mere persecution, because as it is clearly stated in law, in our legal parlance, is that once you are into a criminal matter as a prosecutor, you are there to prosecute the matter and not to persecute. And history has shown the only person who willingly allowed himself to be persecuted was actually Christ, who is a transcendental being, because that was his role, to save mankind. Now, if you are now coming to prosecute within the ambit of the law, you are trying to persecute when it is not contained in any of our judicial documents, whether the criminal administration, the administration of Criminal Justice Act, or any other law of it you're talking, or the Terrorism or the Firearms Act. So there's none of this. Then that is wrong.
Either ways that the government goes, either looking for a legal solution or a political solution, it seems as though from what you're saying, from a legal perspective, of the government has broken its own rules and the government is on the wrong.
Yes, in fact, if we want to fight any situation, to me it should be a holistic containment of the situation, which means you look at the situation where it comes from. Where did it stem from? How did it actually take to spring out? Then when you look at it, you begin to meet up those branches of the problems. Now,
So it
if
looks
there's
like
a
we're
political,
treating the
yes,
symptoms now, not the problem.
yes, if there's a
Okay,
political
sorry to
inclination
cut
to
you
it,
short.
then you
Well,
come
well,
with me.
just to interject a little bit, you find out that Nigeria is running a constitutional republic, and which means that the constitution is the grand norm. The recommendations for every situation is we are to fall back to the constitution. But unfortunately, this same constitution under this regime has been badly abused, badly injured, badly battered. If our constitution was to be a human being, you won't recognize the face of that person. Owing to the fact that when the issue of amnesty to the Boko Haram and to these criminals, to these terrorists, contrary to the outcry of many Nigerians, including myself, on this platform and other platforms, we heard that they were giving amnesty. We saw them with AK-47 and 49 hung around their shoulders, taking selfie with some governors up north here. And at the end of the day,
yesterday when I saw the video of what happened in Abuja Kaduna Highway,
it's frightening.
I have a friend who was supposed to be on this program, Mr. Nandom Leary, and the same thing happened to him on his, I think, Jos Abuja. He was almost kidnapped, and he's traumatized.
In fact, it is frightening. And just to land, as I was trying to say, you find that contrary to the recommendations of the Constitution, that these people who perpetrate this crime ought to be brought and under the law and served justice. And even if you want to negotiate with such people, you negotiate with from the part of strength, not part of weakness. But what we are seeing is that we are negotiating, giving them pat on the back and rewarding them for criminality, whereas their victims, yes, whereas their victims are still in IDP camps or across the different parts of the country, and then as refugees in Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. And then coming down to the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, and the Arewa Consultative Forum are saying that the president shouldn't.
Yes.
Now, it is like when it favors you, it is correct. When it doesn't, you should kill them. Do you run a country like that? And at the end of the day, you say this is one country, different law for different side of the people.
We will come back to this conversation, talking about leaders, our elected leaders, Electoral Amendment Act, INEC awaiting PMB's assent. Should we wait for political parties to resolve their choice of direct or indirect primaries before the bill is assented to? Pressure, of course, is mounting on the president to sign the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Governors, lawmakers are lobbying the president. CSOs, others are making case for the assent. They say the bill reflects the people's will. The president has about 27 days to okay the bill. Is it in the interest of Nigerians? Should the interest of Nigerians be paramount at this time? Now let's throw you back again into the conversation, Mr. Adama. This conversation has been going on back and forth, and then for some reason the direct primaries seems to stick out like a sore thumb. Why, out of all the things on this particular bill, why is the direct primary such a big deal? And of course, we would like to hear from you, our listener out there, direct or indirect. What do you think should be done with this bill? Should the president assent the bill, or should we wait for the governors and those stakeholders who are saying that more options or parties should be given the power to make these choices for themselves, while the National Assembly is saying it's more inclusive now because they're taking power back to the people? But let's hear from you, Mr. Adama, then we open the phone lines.
Yes, if you look at the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, it actually provides there about section 12 down to 14, particularly 14 says sovereignty lies with the people. Now, if you're bringing back this sovereignty, we have talked about this, and even at other fora, I've actually mentioned this. I said, I'm not for once against direct primaries, but my worries for direct primaries is that where direct primaries tends to work, it is where the dividends of democracy is everywhere for the people. Now, at that point, you know that you have a stake. And I give you an example. Aside from where this route actually terminates immediately after your station, you see that bridge has been there for long, which is supposed to link Abattoir and down to Old Airport. Now, what I had expected is that the people in this area, ordinarily when politics come, what they should consider for a candidate is that who is going to do this social amenity for us. not that who is going to give me money to oppress people in this very street. But that is not the problem. Now I'm looking at going back into direct primaries, except certain stringent measures are taken to prevent it. We might also begin to fall back to the era of what? Political thuggery and political violence, because these are the things that trade our politics to a point that we think we have actually outlived it. I know of several states, even Anambra we're talking about. Anambra was one of the first states in Nigeria that once you start election, it doesn't end on that very day. It must be rescheduled to be an inconclusive election to be concluded. I know of places like even Kogi State that where election is going on, people will hold guns and hijack the ballot boxes and everything. So if that will bring integrity and sanity to the political system, then let's work it out effectively. But that also means that instead of us to make our politics less expensive, we are going to make it huge, very huge, because I've learned also that INEC is beginning to think about also involving the national 810,000, even though delineation is about coming up now, because even political parties are beginning to say they are not going to enter the ward system. They want to now break the political structure to go down to the polling unit system, where in every polling unit you now have a political party and a political structure there. So if that goes that way, you find out that at the end of the day, INEC will have a problem of not even going for just one political party to 800 and something thousand polling units, but they will have the stress of going, if we have presently, we have 18 political parties as it is. So multiply that number by 18 political parties who will not conduct at the same time. Then look at that stress and also the resources that will be taken. Right. But
Mr.
if it's going to be electronic system, then that is fine.
Direct primaries or parties should be given the choice to do that. The president has just 27 days to okay the bill. Interest of Nigerians paramount at this time. What is your take?
In fact, that will be the greatest and the most melodious song that will step into my ears, hearing that President Muhammad Buhari has signed that into law. Direct primaries. You see, if we look back to the genesis of democracy from the ancient city of Athens in Greece, it is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, which means that as far as democracy is concerned, it is supposed to be owned by the people. The system should be controlled by the people, not a few individuals who have the wherewithal, who stays at the top, depriving you the opportunity of selecting those whom you believe should be there to serve your interest. For instance, it is even said that the lawmakers are even screaming, crying blue and murder, because the governors in their various states dictates and decides who becomes the senator. If they don't want you in their political party, for instance, to go back to that house, they have the keys, because the majority of the from the what is it called now?
Delegates.
The delegates are controlled by these governors largely. So for that reason, they calculate and instruct and buy over. In fact, in most cases, on the day of the election, in direct primaries, some of these delegates are taken, hidden somewhere in a certain hotel, given whatever they are needed, taken good care of, only to be let out like cats to go and throw in their vote and go. And then the thing is settled. In 2019, for instance, we saw what happened in Rivers State. The story is still there. I don't want to call names. But we heard that dollars exchanged hand for the highest bidders. Whereas these people are being selected in that manner on whom becomes my candidate in the first instance.
Right,
from the world level, state level, up to the national level.
0905556 in 4 places 99 09098848848. Good morning. The program is Let's Talk.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Sadiq Umar. I'm calling from Fuji Junction.
Let's talk, Sadiq.
Yes, I will comment your guest. They have spoken well. But when we look at this issue of electoral issue, it's something that is very, very complicated. Seeing what is the rising and the causes of the implication of the crime that the people are taking. It is very, very fortunate that the Eastern people wanted the release of the Kanu, but if you follow the previous release, I think there is a basis that the court have given to him But after his release, he is out of Nigeria and he's giving command, which leads to kills of many securities of Nigerians, and which leads to attack of many Nigerians that are on that side. Any crime that is happening in Nigeria is just a terrorism act, because anything that leads to kill of another person, no matter what leads to the agitation or no matter what the cause, as long as you are not following the rules and regulations, I think you are a terrorist.
So that means you're saying that bandits should also be declared terrorists then?
Yes, the bandits are supposed to be declared terrorists. These are already terrorists.
All right, Sadiq Umar, are you up for direct or indirect primaries? What is your take on that?
Yes, and on the issue of direct primaries is something that we have to check. There is a result or there is a good advantage of these direct primaries because of the kind of corruption that have been in the system. Because if we say that it's delicate, we see a politician that will buy all the delegates.
Okay, so basically you are for direct primaries, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much. 090-556 in 4 places, 990908848848. These are the numbers if you want to contribute in this conversation. Good morning. Hello, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome. Let's talk.
See that great Comrade Bernard on the line. Good morning.
Go right ahead, Comrade Bernard. We don't have much time.
Good morning. God bless you.
Good morning, comrade.
The issue of direct payment, the government should allow. They don't allow me to talk about this country. The government should allow all this trajectory, everything that will lead to the progress of the democracy to go on. You don't support the government. You don't support
Hello. Great Comrade Bernard. We're sorry to miss your input. 090-556 in 4 places, 990908848848. Hello.
Good morning, Zoo.
Good morning and welcome.
My lover, my brother, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Jusa for FM Jos.
Let's talk.
My submission this morning is that direct primary is the best, so that every party carry member will participate.
Direct primaries.
Yes, my sister. And the issue on insecurity, honestly speaking, the Arewa youth and Arewa elders, they are not hating matters. On Sunday, many things happen in this Kaduna Abuja Expressway. Even in BBC House of Studies, they make comment about it that somebody who former governor in Kaduna and in Zamfara were killed in that attack, and his brother even the interview in BBC House of Studies. This morning I had it, but the Arewa youth are not even concerned about insecurity that is happening in the country. They are after one particular tribe, which is very, very unfortunate. They say that this country belongs to everybody. My sister, if you travel to East, particular Olu area and of local government, what is happening here is very, very terrible. I'm telling you. Yesterday they claimed that a officer were killed. They have to go to one village like that, our mama, and kill many people and burn hotels. Is that how it's supposed to be? When a general and other from Plateau military officer were killed in Maiduguri, did they go and ransack the community? It's very, very unfortunate. If you want to treat, let's treat it equal. So that you said we claim to be one Nigeria, but we are not doing the country, treating everybody equal. It's very, very unfortunate.
Thank you for your time. Yes, gunmen on Monday afternoon killed a military officer when they attacked some soldiers in Awo Mama in the Oru East local government area of Imo State. In reprisal, military men regrouped, stormed the town, and allegedly burnt a hotel, cars, houses, and shops. And the incident happened at Isheke Junction in the area, has caused panic in the community, and many indigents of the community have fled as soldiers took over the community. Retired Captain, can you throw some light on this particular issue? Hello? Captain Nwafo. Yes, can you hear me? Yes, talking about what happened right there in Ihiala in Anambra State in Awomama, where gunmen killed a military officer and the reprisal from the army. Is there any facts to this story? What is going on at the moment?
Yes, some bandits who launched from government military and they became and I said the shootout about
please, we can't hear you clearly. I don't know if you can speak up a little more.
I think that they confirmed there was an attack on military outfit.
And there was also a reprisal attack by the military.
This is the third time it's happening. I don't know why the governor has not seen this picture. Because sometimes when the people that they don't understand with him. I think that is intelligence to understand. I think nobody goes fight a war in town. Sometimes all these people are eating down the east.
All right, we're not getting your inputs clearly. I'm not really sure what you're saying at this time. But then let's talk about perhaps how Nnamdi Kanu's, release or finding a solution to his problem, perhaps, would be a solution also to all these uprisings that we keep seeing in the southeast. What do you think will be the implication, even if the president says that he cannot wade into judicial matters? We hear the AGF perhaps has a role to play in this, just to bring about, do you see this bringing about any succor, any rest at all to the problems of insecurity in the southeast, Mr. Malubi?
Well, it is said that pragmatic developments required pragmatic approach. In this sense, the president saying that he cannot wade into Nnamdi Kanu's issue because it's a judicial matter, I don't quite agree with that. He has waded into judicial matters. As far as the issue of bandits and Boko Harams are concerned, the president has stepped into it. The issue of Nnamdi Kanu shouldn't be an exception. What is good for the goods should also be good for the ganders. We have started shifting the goalpost. If we can play down our constitution to give Boko Haram pat on the back, we can also play down the same way to use diplomatic ways to deal with the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. And let me even say this. The issue of agitation, Biafra, did not start and will not end with Nnamdi Kanu. People should know this. Most Igbos are not IPOBs, but most Igbos are Biafrans. I tell this, I want to be put on record. For me, I'm not an IPOB, but I'm a Biafran.
What's the difference?
The difference is that IPOB has a way they are going about this agitation to actualize Biafran dream. But you ask every Igbo man who is from the southeast, by birth and by location, you are a Biafran, most. But not every Igbo man is an IPOB.
No, you are a Biafran in what way? By location of bite of Biafra, or because Biafra is a different country, or I'm not sure.
Not in the sense of your last submission. By birth, yes, by birth. Every Igbo, most Igbos, let me just put it that way, it's a Biafran.
I actually thought by birth you are an Igbo man. Huh? I thought by birth you are an Igbo man.
Well, let's not go there. There are certain things we may not see on air. But let me say this. The agitation for Biafra did not begin with Nnamdi Kanu.
And of course, we do not want any actualization of Biafra. We all want to remain one at this time. So when you say this, it kind of throws a difference of Biafrans and Nigerians.
If you look at it critically, Zoe Machunga, and everybody listening to me this morning, the truth of the matter is that if you are talking about those who want Nigeria to succeed, the Southeasterners are in the forefront. Because go to every location in this country, you will see a Southeasterner and Igbo man contributing to the development of that place. A lot of Igbos have built houses outside the Igbo land, even without building in their own village, for instance. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, some may argue that is because the land mass there is not enough to contain the whole people.
That is not true. That is not true. If you ever been to the southeast, you discover that there are even ungoverned spaces. There are places where you have vast bushes and all that. But that anybody telling you it is because of the land mass, it is not. It's not saying the truth.
All right, let's get back to electoral amendment. 27 more days to go, maybe 26 today now. Are you saying, Mr. Adama, that this should be stalled? We should wait, have some dialogue before this goes through. Wait for the 22 governors who are still having issues with the direct or indirect primaries, or what are you saying at this time?
Yes, Zoe, I wouldn't want us to have a repeat of 2018, where every other thing. I've always said that I'm an advocate of building viral and strong institutions. And for me, one of the institutions that is beginning to trailblaze this for other institutions to follow in Nigeria is actually INEC. Why am I saying so? You begin to see like the beavers that have been used in Anambra has brought a bit of integrity and sanity to the process. And I told you, I have used your studio as an example. I cannot come as a guest to know where we should fix anything in this studio. But you, Zoe, that work with this equipment, you know what will make you serve the public and make JFM to be outstanding in terms of service delivery. Now, if INEC has made recommendations, that was my quarrel in 2018. Why should the presidency now say, no, the time is short? But thank God now that even by the harmonization of the electoral bill, both the House of Reps and Senate have actually held on to section 78 of the 1999 constitution, which says INEC actually has the power of paraphrasing to direct, to organize, and also superintend over the electoral process. Now, if INEC has looked at this process, that is going to be okay. And INEC has also looked at the issue of direct primary, because when we are talking about democracy, one of the things we fail to understand is that even from the origin of democracy, we have direct and indirect democracy. These are part and parcel of democracy. We must not pick hook, line, and sinker, but you must have to look at it from your own point of what advantage, under comparative advantage. What will work for you well? And in the system of Nigeria that has come, even when people are talking about buying delegates, this might also let's take for example, I give people money to vote for me, and I come to the line and I see that both the security agents, INEC should also put it, but let the president should sign, because the way it is that almost everybody is aligning to, and they say when there's too much sand in the soup, even the blind man will know that there is sand in the soup. So I think everybody is tilting towards this, but let's look at the pitfalls as we go ahead, and I pray that they will be able to block all these loopholes that might come to it, because for everything that has an advantage has disadvantage. And for those of us in the criminal learning field, we say necessity is a father of invention, but we also go further to say that invention also becomes the mother of crime, because for every invention there is a necessity, and for that necessity then there will be a crime attached to it.
All right, Mr. Malobi, direct, indirect primary is still causing a lot of debate, and some are saying, hey, let's take a second look at this. Others are saying
those things that have advantages also does have their own disadvantages. It is not as if direct primary is going to answer all our electoral process or questions and all that. But if you ask me, if we want people to own the system, belong to political parties, contribute to the growth and development of those political parties, so that somebody somewhere wouldn't just come and take over the political party. Like in the case of Nigeria, you are told that the governor is the father of a party in a state. How come that a governor who belonged to party A will junkate to party B, who never contributed to the development of that political party, suddenly becomes the father of that political party? Is that correct?
Well, this is an ongoing conversation on Facebook. Sorry to cut you short. On Facebook, Victor Ogbona is saying, I have come to believe our leaders are the ones causing the setback of this country. If there is right sense, we'll kick against direct primaries, then the greedy, wicked, and evil agenda. Sokias Tong is saying the president should sign the Electoral Amendment Act into law. The direct or indirect primary is something the political parties should talk to their various electorates for better understanding understanding. Only the court has the power to prosecute Nnamdi Kanu. Also, the Arewa youth should be talking about the progress of the North, not minding what court injunctions. We all want a better Nigeria. Albert Akaya is saying our leaders most not always protect and speak their interests, especially as it affects them. Matters of election affect more of the politicians than it affects the citizens. So I will call on the government to work out a system that will build the confidence of electorate to avoid the continuous increasing voter apathy that we're experiencing. Principal Joseph is saying direct primaries and electoral voting are the way to choose credible candidates. Unless the card-carrying members are given the opportunity to choose credible candidates in primary election, money politics will continue to thrive. I challenge the electorate to be sensitive in choosing leaders in 2023 general elections. This is the only way we can avoid suffering and smiling in Nigeria. Joel Joseph says, at times I wonder what does Arewa Youth stand for? What have they been able to do concerning insecurity in the North? Why do we choose nepotism as a way forward in this country? In as much as we don't support Nnamdi Kanu, he deserves amnesty if Boko Haram and bandits are granted that. He has not done worse than that. Moses Daniel says governors are kicking against the direct primaries are the ones that don't like progress and betterment of this country. Had it been direct primaries was there since, APC wouldn't have been in power today. We need a better Nigeria coming 2023. Okay, I'm afraid I can't take all of these comments. Keep it coming. It's an ongoing conversation. You'll be surprised the people who come back to this post just to also inform themselves. So keep it coming. www.jfm.com/JFM Jos. And this is what I have for you in the offing this Tuesday morning. And sorry to inform you that the call between retired Captain Kasmea Inwa for security